Good afternoon. Welcome to Trinity Heights United Methodist Church. I'm Kent Little, senior pastor here. It's time for midweek musings. Apologize last week if you tuned in. I was gone and just didn't have the opportunity to do this last week. But anyway, it's good to be back. It's good to be back home. It's good to be back in the church. Anyway, so what's going on today? So looking forward, ahead here, happening at the church. Like I always say, there's always a lot of things happening at the church. The normal week to week things, as well as special events. Tonight, Wednesday night, there is choir practice. The next special thing happening at the church will be a week from this Sunday. Is not only Mother's Day, it is graduate recognition day, and so we will talk a little bit about Mothering Day, talk about mothers and those who have mothered us, if you will, but also take some time to recognize and honor our graduates that are connected with our community of faith here at Trinity Heights. So that'll be a special day. And then the 1st of June, well, I think it's actually the 2nd of June, June the 2nd, on Sunday evening, we're going to have a Schools Out block party here at the church, and there'll be more information coming as we get a little closer to that. But we're going to have hot dogs and chips and cookies, I think, games, and then games, a number of games, probably volleyball and cornhole and giant Jenga and horseshoes and lots of, excuse me, got a tickle in my nose, lots of different games for not only little ones, but for us big ones as well. And then we'll also have a live band. Blue Eyed Soul from Wichita will be here providing some entertainment and music for us for that. That's on June the 2nd. On June 29th, on June 29th, we are going to go to Wichita for those who have signed up to a Wind Surge game, a baseball game. So that'll be fun as well. In the midst of that will be our annual conference. So myself and our lay delegate from Trinity Heights will be traveling to Kearney, Nebraska to do the business of our conference. So that all happens in June as well. So June's going to be a busy month, not only for our local church and community faith here at Trinity Heights, but for our conference too. So that's kind of the things that are happening around the church and the conference right now. Also, our general conference is going on as we speak. The worldwide church doing the business of our general conference, and I want to talk a little bit about that at the end. But that's happening right now. It went all last week, and then it'll go all this week, and then it'll wrap up on the weekend. So so this coming Sunday, we're still in our worship series of music as the soundtrack of our lives, and we've been talking about a different song, popular song out of our lives in each decade. This coming Sunday is the 90s, and so the song I picked from the 90s is Garth Brooks' song "The River," and we'll use that kind of as the foundation of our time together on Sunday. Kind of the themes from that is are around risk and the unknown and taking chances, etc. And so it'll be a good Sunday. And The River by Garth Brooks is a great song. And like the other decades we've covered the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we only covered one song, but there's just so much good music that comes out every decade, if you will. So I'm sure there'll be other songs mentioned, but The River will be the one that we focus on for this coming Sunday. And so I want to talk just a little bit about our general conference, the United Methodist Church General Conference. that's been going on for the last week, and then for the remainder of this week, because there have been some historic things happening in the life of the United Methodist Church. And I know we're all aware of the disaffiliations and the struggles and the strife, the conflict, if you will, within the United Methodist Church over the decades, but especially over this last year, couple of years. And churches leaving, clergy leaving, people leaving, etc., leaving the United Methodist Church. But I think the future of the United Methodist Church is very bright, and I think we are moving in the right direction to become a more inclusive church that indeed does welcome all persons into the life of the church here at Trinity Heights. As part of our statement, we talk about how everyone is welcome here, regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation, etc., race, etc., and not only welcome here, but welcome to participate in the full life of the church. And we took a huge step as a denomination over the last couple of days at General Conference. Many of you know, if not all of you, one of the main conflict pieces around what's been going on, especially over the last couple of years, with the disaffiliations, etc., is around human sexuality, and our gay and lesbian LGBTQ siblings, persons in the life of our church. That there has long been, 50 plus years. I think maybe the first restrictive language was put into our discipline in 1972 or about there, so just a little over 50 years ago, and ever since then, and there were more additions, more restrictive, more punitive, harmful sections and language put in the discipline after that, but I think that was the first ones. And so we've been in conflict over that language in our discipline for 50 plus years, and that was kind of the focus. Was the focus of the disaffiliations and the splits we've seen in our church over the last couple of years, especially. And so yesterday, as part of the General Conference, if you're not familiar with that, the General Conference is the body, the only body that can officially speak for the United Methodist Church as a whole. And so they meet every 4 years, and every time they meet, there are petitions made, legislative pieces brought in to better state, hopefully better state who we are and what we're about, and an opportunity to change, add to, etc., our discipline, our official rule book, if you will, that contains all of our doctrine, our social stances, etc. And so back in '72, there was language put in the discipline about our relationship or our belief around homosexuality and same-gender relationships, and so that language has been in there, and then more language was put in, and probably the big one, kind of the underlying piece of all of the language that was put in the discipline is around what we call the incompatibility clause. And early in our social principles, in the nurturing community, these are the words that are in the discipline. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because there's a lot of instances. Anyway, the United Methodist Church does not condone the practice of homosexuality and considers this practice incompatible with Christian teaching. And that was kind of the foundational piece that was added to our discipline. There was nothing in the discipline about sexual orientation, about homosexuality, etc. Prior to that, and that was added in 72-ish. And so, yes, and one of the pieces of that was that was added later was that there was a restriction or a prohibition for churches to give money to caucus groups that supported homosexuality or same-gender relationships, etc. Yesterday, the General Conference deleted that from the discipline, took it out. And then today, the piece I just read about homosexuality being considered incompatible with Christian teaching, that language was taken out of the discipline, as well as many other places in the discipline that prohibited ordination of our LGBTQ siblings and friends. The prohibition for clergy to do same-gender weddings, or the prohibition for churches to host same-gender weddings. All of that today, this morning, was struck from the discipline. And so this is a historic day in the life of the United Methodist Church as a whole. That they have removed the discriminatory and harmful language directed at persons of sexual orientation other than heterosexual. It's a huge step, I believe, in the life of the church toward a more inclusive, more grace-filled place and space to be as United Methodists. There may be a time when there are other things added to be even more open, more inclusive, so to speak. Right now, in essence, what this does, what the language that's been taken out at this point, what this does is it takes us back to pre-1972 in terms of our stance, because there was nothing in the discipline prior to 72, and so it doesn't identify or name, if you will, homosexuality as an accepted thing, which I think it might do us well, just because of the harm that I believe we've done to our LGBTQ siblings. Right now, this is a huge step. It takes all of those prohibitions, all of those punitive actions, all of those discriminatory statements out of our discipline, and so now basically what it does is, should a Board of Ordained Ministry decide that a gay or lesbian person has the gifts and graces for ministry, just like when I went before the board and the board decided I had the gifts and graces to be ordained clergy in the United Methodist Church, they ordained me. And so now my siblings who are gay and lesbian, LGBTQ, who identify and are oriented that way, they have the same opportunity as I do to recognize their God-given gifts. It's kind of an emotional thing. We've been fighting this battle a long time, and then around same-gender weddings, it will now allow those clergy who wish to do a same-gender wedding. It doesn't prohibit them from doing that. It doesn't require that a United Methodist clergy do a same-gender wedding. But at the same time, it gives the opportunity for those who wish to and believe that's part of their calling, they can. And the churches that decide that they want to open their facilities to same-gender weddings, they're not prohibited from doing that. They're not required to, but they're not prohibited from it either. anyway, this is a historic day. It has been a passion for mine around justice and social justice and inclusion, and the harm that we've done to so many of my friends, clergy friends and lay friends alike. That for this to finally be gone is a huge step, I believe, in the direction where God calls us to be. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on with General Conference right now. If you have any questions around that, please feel free to give me a call, or I'd be glad to sit down with you and visit more about that and what it means, what it holds for us all. I probably don't have all the answers to many questions at this point, because I've just learned of this watching what's going on at General Conference. And so anyway, if you have any questions around that, or anything for that matter, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to sit down and visit with you about what this might mean for the United Methodist Church as a whole, what it might mean for Trinity Heights United Methodist Church, and what it might mean for all of us. Anyway, most importantly, thank you for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join with me on this Wednesday afternoon to visit about the life of the church, not only locally but globally as well. And so anyway, it's good to have you with us. And it's a beautiful day outside, I think, unless it's raining again. We've had some pretty bad storms. We want to keep those who have been affected by the storms over the last week or so in our prayers. Nebraska, Kansas, so much damage from tornadoes, people picking up their lives and trying to figure out how to move on from here. Keep them in our prayers. It's important. So anyway, thank you for being here. Hope you have a good day. And like we always say here at Trinity Heights, be a light and love one another, every single other, until there are no others, only one beloved community of all. May it be so. We're a little step closer, I believe, for it to be so. Goodbye, and God bless.